romantic relationship is always aimed to marriage, and I believe that is what everybody aims at, unless for some of you who are creepy, who are just, wasting people's times. But the moment you start a serious romantic relationship with someone that you get interest in, the highest target is making sure you settle for better, for worse. But so many things happen along the way that drag you off the track, others distract you, others. It takes someone who is laser focused to reach that goal. And that is one of my primary roles right here on The Glory of Love, to ensure that I give you the guidance under the guidance of Christ, if I'm saying God, so that we get to that destination safe and sound. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Glory of Love, yet another episode right here. And remember, we've been drilling on this very topic over and over and over again. Yes, previously we were talking to those who are under cohabitation, and guess what? Today we are now sinking into pure marriage, whether church or whether civil, whether cultural, no matter the case, as long as you are together legally, we shall be talking to you. But I'm not saying that those who are not yet there, you shouldn't pay attention. It's actually the moment you should pay the most attention, because since that's where you're heading to, you need to know the ins and outs of what happens right there, so that you get yourself in this preparation right at this stage. And I don't want to unleash the dragon, if I'm to say. My guest of today, he is one of those guys that I look up to. I love him for his art in the creativity he puts in news reading. He's a journalist right here with us at Broadcast House, and he does such an amazing job. Let's meet him right.
Wow, this is a beautiful show. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold. I'm a journalist, communicator, I'm a media owner, record label producer, music producer, married man, father of 3, and a happy man of God and a servant of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Let me first leave the other titles all aside. I'm very sure I've had conversations with you, like on the compound right here, about hip-hop. You're a hip-hop enthusiast, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that art?
No, I'm still a rapper, but I might not affiliate as a hip-hop artist, because I understand, I went to the core that hip-hop is a culture. Okay. And hip-hop is a culture that is affiliated to so many other things that might stand as a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ might not affiliate with. But I'm a rapper. Okay. Yeah, I rap, and I rap for the glory of God.
So do you sometimes rap in church?
Yes, I do, but where I'm at right now, my ministry in church is not in the musical realm. My ministry in church is more in evangelism. I evangelize, but my music is online. Okay. So I'm not the artist that is rapping to get fame or to be known.
You're not commercial.
I'm not commercial. I have my studio. I'm a creative. I write. So when I write and produce a good piece of work, I upload it, share it with those that really matter to me, and once they are blessed, for me that's a heart, change. Okay. That's a heart mended.
That's very beautiful right there. It's so many out there that have the art and they sit on it. Sometimes they get it twisted the other way around. But I love the fact that you still remain enthusiastic and you still put your work out there. That is just enough to inspire. Maybe you will have to look out for his YouTube channel and check out some of his art, because man, this guy, I know him for his rap art. Really, really pretty good. And probably for some of you want maybe guidance on how to maneuver your journey as far as hip-hop is concerned. He is so informed. So you may have to look out.
Music, not hip-hop.
Not hip-hop.
Yes, not hip-hop.
Rap and music.
Yeah, rap and music.
Okay, let's switch it back this side to the realm of marriage. How is marriage?
Well, marriage is beautiful. I must say that it's an honor to walk into marriage. Most of the times you never get to know. I actually usually exemplify it with getting circumcised. Okay. Yeah. So many people that are not circumcised never know. You can never know the benefits or the beauty of being circumcised until you're circumcised. And when I say circumcised, I'm speaking both the physical circumcision but also the spiritual circumcision. You never know the sweetness of salvation until you know you're in salvation. But even in the physical realm,
Yeah.
like when you're not circumcised, you think you've reached until you're circumcised. But
I love your metaphor, but it's all good. Now, so many people who are not married talk about marriage in different, if I should say, spectrums. But most of all, let's say social media, which is now of so much influence, depicts marriage as something that is treacherous, something that is so stressful. I've seen memes that show a cock that is married and then a cock that is not married, and you see the one that is not married is really looking so good and the other one is looking so malnourished. Are there things that we could look at as far as dealing with stress, as far as romantic relationship is concerned in marriage?
okay. Well, I must also first tell you this, that once you also leave the world, you get to understand things a little differently. And the beginning of a thing is important on how it shall end. Yeah? So I feel like those that term marriage as a treacherous place, as a prison, I feel like most times perhaps they began the wrong way. Yeah? And that's usually tantamount to a lot of issues within your marriage. But if you begin off right, I think your marriage should be blessed.
What is the rightful beginning, if you could paint a picture?
Yes, the right way to begin a marriage, first of all, starts with your individuality. The Bible says a man shall leave his mother and father and go be joined to his wife. Okay? And that statement is heavy in so many ways. I don't know if I'll be able to decipher how many ways, but I'm praying for the unction to help me. So, first and foremost, a man leaves his mother and father. That means, one, a man has to live. And you must leave your mother and father. So it's very hard for you to say you're ready for marriage if you're still at home.
So that means you could live physically, but spiritually you're still at home.
You could live physically, but spiritually you're still at home. Yes? So you need to live in so many kinds of ways. Yeah? You need to have established a realm of independence, first and foremost, whereby it's you and God.
Okay.
It's you and God, not mommy's decision, not daddy's decision, but it's just you
And God.
and God. Okay?
Yeah.
And that place is climaxed or is driven by a place of prayer. Okay? You must set out the qualities of the wife you want. You must set out those qualities to God, because God answers prayers. If you're out there and you think God doesn't answer prayers, I'm ready to prove you wrong.
Let me ask you at this point, what do you think are some of those things that many youth out there front as the qualities? Because when I talk to so many, they say, yes, I have my qualities of the kind of person I want. I have choices. But then eventually the choices they made turn out to be so, stressful to them. They're like, man, I chose this girl, but I chose this dude, but it's not working. What are some of those that you think they could be making out of, if I should say, human nature, not spiritual?
Most youth like me or under me always go for what the eyes see. And I think that's one of the biggest mistake a lot of people do when they are choosing partners. They go for what the eyes see, and what we see is can I say fiction? Because a plant grows up, a plant usually grows up green or so, but usually brings flowers eventually that are yellow or some different kind. Yeah. So if you judge the plant in its young age, you might think it's going to be green eventually. But things change, especially when you're judging them from the sight perspective. Okay? So you really need to be spiritual. And most times I see them also listing the qualities they want, but the surprise is it's God who gives you the wife, and it's God who gives you those qualities. Let me.
Okay,
huh?
okay. Mark, I'm loving the fact that you're dragging us so much to the spiritual perspective of this whole situation. And that is where most of the youth out there do not actually pay attention. Just like you said, using their physical eyes, they see this person, they love them, and then eventually things don't turn out right. And I, as a person, I believe there is something spiritual about marriage that so many are not seeing. Now, talking about being prayerful, many people simply are religious, but they are not faithful. Do you mind sinking me to the direction of faith a little bit, just to clarify on their spirituality, to make sure when they talk to God, God should be in position to listen and help them make some of these decisions?
Okay, we live in a life or in a world that is governed by principles and patterns. The principle of planting and harvesting. The principles of, where there is light, there shall be no shadow. There are so many other principles that govern life. And now those principles work for you whether you're born again or not. So when you understand that you're not perfect, you are then able to break before God and say, God, help me. Okay? And God listens to that heart. God listens to that
This
heart.
is where I want you to give more clarity. So many people will tell you that, yes, I pray. I really did pray for this girl to be mine. I really prayed for this image of a man that I wanted to get married to, but I never saw signs. How does God respond so that someone can actually visualize and be like, okay, I think, let me give this a try?
One, I'll tell you this, that as long as you pray to God, He will always answer. There's very few people I know that truly pray to God in the right way, because you're supposed to pray in spirit and in truth. Yeah? Babbling of words does not necessarily mean you're praying. You're supposed to be in spirit and in truth. Okay? Now, when you pray and pray and pray, God usually reveals to you your answers through different ways. One, of course, dreams. In Job, of course, he says, I have warned you in a dream and I've told you of the times to come. And, he warns you in dreams. Now, also through people, And some people think, that person has to be born again to also be a sign. No. Sometimes the people he speaks through are not believers. But he might use a person of that nature.
So you simply need to be cautious.
You need to be spiritually alert. You need to have the spirit of discernment. But you can only have that spirit if you are devoted in prayer. And it's not something that just happens one night over. It needs to be a pattern of prayer. Prayer is a pattern.
You need to keep praying. Don't think you're going to pray today and everything will turn miraculously in your favor. So please stay prayerful. I think this is one thing that so many people really don't know about MC Sugar, that I really pray a lot. I pray over everything. Trust me. For you who does not pray, I pity you. If you think everything I wake up to and do just happens out of the blue, bro, no, that's not how it happens. Let's take a break right now. When we come back, we are now digging deeper into understanding when you are in marriage, you are two people. Sometimes the kids come in as well. How do you, as a man, handle this whole situation? How do you, as a woman, who is now the head or neck of the family, how do you deal with all that turmoil, confusion and all that? All right, the biblical order of family is children, wife, husband, then Christ. That's why we're emphasizing so much about, religion right here. And we're not leaving our Muslim brothers aside. Yeah, we're talking about Allah here, and it's still just the same name as God. So your spiritual life has a lot to do with your marriage and handling issues around that circle. If you just joined the show right now, this is The Glory of Life, and we are talking how to deal with relationship stress. To be particular, we're talking romantic relationship. We know there's the other agape, friendship, and all that. We're leaving that aside for today. I have Mark Arnold right here with me, still breaking it down now. I want Mark Arnold to help us understand. There are things that happen when you are in this relationship officially, now married. Let's say during the first stages, you're just back from your honeymoon and everything is strange. The two of you together now, it's just you and her, and there's a lot of changes that happen, and so many people are looking at that as being stressful.
Well, my story, I'll say, doesn't happen the ordinary way as many people perhaps expect. Because me, I actually first cohabited.
Okay.
Yes, I first cohabited, but I knew this was my wife.
What were the signs?
Now, like I told you, I passed through this whole session of prayer, this whole period of prayer for my wife. So somehow along the way, I meet my wife in a very, I don't want to say miraculous, but in a way you would think it's not ever going to play out, but then it eventually plays out. Now, I'm a person who had been in relationships before, but I never sustained a relationship for more than 1 year.
Okay.
I was in so many relationships. And in those relationships, either they got tired of me or I got tired of them. So my brother was getting married, and he had a boutique that had a tailor that tailors for him his suits.
Yeah.
So I was one of the groomsmen. So we tailor our suits at that tailor. So that tailor then also becomes my tailor for my suits whenever I'm going to anchor and any other business. My suits were now tailored by that.
Yes.
Shout outs to you, Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
So one day when I keep going to that boutique, so my wife was working in that boutique. Okay? So we start, a conversation with my tailor, and we are dissing women of different tribes. Huh? So we talk about different tribes, so to the point where we now talk about my wife's tribe, and I'm dissing my wife's tribe.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, my parents have told me women from this tribe are like this, like this, like this, like this. And so my wife hears, and she comes through to defend her tribe. She's like, you might have heard that, but no, not everyone is like that. Okay? So she protects her tribe. And imagine, my parents had always told me, please don't get a woman from that tribe. Imagine the things God does. So imagine, so that day we get into a heated debate, and we both point fingers at each other. They're like, but even you, they say your tribe people do this. But is it true that you do that? Then I also deny. So it gave me this point of reflection that, okay, maybe not everybody, not everything people say about a particular section of a group of people is always true. Okay? So that day, in fact, that time I was dating someone else. Yeah. So that very day, I think my wife leaves and closes and leaves me with the tailor, to the point that even my girlfriend then also now comes for me there. Okay? But I had exchanged numbers with my wife.
Exchange numbers, like, on what purpose?
Now, the debate was not an emotionally negatively emotional debate. It was this debate and I think that's one of the reasons, now that I'm thinking about it, that's one of the reasons that made me attracted to her, was that she had this way of proving her point without charging the negative emotion. You get?
She was not arguing to win the argument.
No, she was arguing to make a point.
To assure you.
Yes, to make a point. So, of course, we exchanged numbers. She left. I stayed with the tailor. My then girlfriend came for me. So we leave. So I remember from that day that I took her number, we started talking on phone, chatting, WhatsApp, talking day in. I used to load corporate calls worth, I think, 20K, and those calls usually were for a month long, okay? But I had never utilized all those calls in the month that was given to me. But when I meet her, these calls are getting over in a matter of weeks, okay? And remember, I have a girlfriend, and I'm not the kind of person who is a player. So this went on for about 2 months. Then Spirit tells me, she's like, yo, if you are talking with a person like that is not your girlfriend. And by the way, when we are talking, we are not talking girlfriend, boyfriend kind of talk. No. We are just excited talking about different things
Different
about
things.
life. You get what I mean?
So you guys, I love the fact that there was a lot of conversation around you guys, and nobody is yet looking at the other fact of saying, how about if this is my person?
No. I took about actually 4 months to actually say that, hey, I think let's date. But
What was happening between you and your then girlfriend?
yes, so actually what happened is I came to the realization that if you can talk to someone and enjoy a conversation this much with a person who is not your wife, then this person you're currently dating, yeah, if it is not as nearly as good as this person who is your friend, I think you better drop this one. So I had to come to terms with reality. I called her up, the then girlfriend.
Wait a minute, hold up. Do you mean your conversation with your then girlfriend was not that detailed like the one that you had with this friend?
It wasn't that detailed or intimate. It was just the basics, like what are your aspirations in life? What kind of job are you doing?
You said you guys were cohabiting. What was, paint me a picture of the two of you together in the house, say over the weekend. You're going to spend like 2 days together. How was the movement of activities in a house?
Now, I never cohabited with anybody else except my wife.
Hey!
Yes. So that's what I'm coming to. So with this girlfriend, we were just, she would just come over, visit my place and go. Yeah. So I called her up. I told her, hey, I really feel like we're not going to be able to push through. I'm sorry. I need to go discover myself better. But I'll tell you one thing that she did for me. That ex of mine gave me. She kind of laid the foundation, and I think she was supposed to be part of the story.
Okay.
How I know is because she recommended to me a preacher.
I feel like we need to big up her,
We need to big up her, but I won't mention her name.
It's okay.
Yes, So she recommended to me a preacher, Miles Monroe.
Yeah.
She told me, you need to start listening to Miles Monroe's message. I think it will do a big thing in your life.
How did she take your decision?
She was hurt. But better hurt now than hurt in the future. Okay? Better hurt now and find your perfect one.
Hadn't you guys got to points whereby, girls have a tendency of when I visit you, I leave 1 or 2 clothes there and stuff like that?
Luckily, it hadn't reached that level. And I was also a bit careful on who I date next because I'd also come out of a series of relationships. So I always wanted to make sure I don't repeat the same mistakes I make. Okay?
Oh my goodness, this conversation is getting sweet and our time is fast spent. I don't know what we're going to do. Shortcut. What are we going to do? I think, what we're going to do is we're going to drive this conversation up to when our time gets expired. And I'm going to continue with Mark Arnold next Saturday, just the way we are, the way you're seeing us right here. But for now, first take me a little bit more. I'm loving the story.
So anyways, I break up this relationship and I still waited to get into a new relationship because I didn't want to think that, okay, now that you're, flowing with this lady, now that those are all the signs for you to, But I started to notice traits of a helper that I had always prayed for, okay?
In
the friend, okay? So this person is doing things, saying things that are really intimate to my heart. Talking
like
about,
what?
Now, for example, I'll tell you that this person said, okay, you're my friend. She asked me, do you go to church? I'm like, yes, I go to church, but I've not been quite often at church. She's like, we need to find a church to go to. The signs are usually not seen. And when you're in the moment, it's not easy for you to actually see the signs. I'll tell you this. It's like the phrase, I can tell you what's on your nose, but I cannot tell you what's on mine.
Yeah.
Because my nose is closest to my eyes, and it might not be having the perspective I need to see what's on my nose.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So when you're in the moment, sometimes it's hard to actually notice the sign.
Maybe let me bring the question in this form. What were those moments that really gave you the feeling of saying, wow, I'm in the presence of the right person?
That was after I told her I actually love her. And I told her this a little after we had, like about even 6 months into the relationship.
Now, I want it even before. Okay, what drags you to saying?
You never know. Okay, now, what dragged me to saying I love her
Yes.
was because of the care she had for me and the care, the helping care. She always wanted to see better in me. She also did not see me for who I was then. It's very, very amazing that, yes, I was an anchor by then, but to her that wasn't the issue. Like, all right, are you back from work? You understand? Are you back from work? It's not, it's like any every.
Not like we saw you on TV. Oh my God.
My wife used not to watch, she used not to watch TV. You get, TV wasn't her thing, for her she was at work.
So your celebrity personality was nothing to her. She saw you for a different person.
She only started watching TV because of me now.
Wow.
That's now, and she only watches UBC. Now that, okay, maybe now she now watches other stations and tries to get abreast with news. But she was the kind of person who was not really concerned about current affairs or this minister has done this or no, that wasn't her. She got into that only because of me. Yeah, but in the early days, I'll say that it's hard for you to know, but you just feel a certain grace carrying you. Like you've spent 1 month, 2 months, 2 months feel like it's been a week. For real, like 4 months feel like it's been like 2-3 weeks. You get what I mean? 4 months, like you've done so much in a very long period of time, but it feels like yesterday.
Very short time.
It's actually even up to now.
Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, everybody that falls in a relationship right now, you must be saying, but I also feel the same way. There is a reason as to why you're feeling is not yet dragging you to where Arnold's feeling dragged him to where he is. You need to pay some attention, and very, very important attention to the details of how he finally orchestrates this feeling and catapults himself into a marriage that he's enjoying right now. The fact of the matter I've understood from this episode is that marriage is a very beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing too, but how you build it up so that it can take you right there is the key element. Now, in the interest of time, we're going to pause it right here with Arnold, but when we come back next Saturday, he is going to be digging deeper into telling us, so eventually what happens, what came next, how come right now he is a happy man and you are not, is the difference.